Charlie.
Hi, Yaz. How's
Welcome
it
to
going?
Peak Podcast. I am, as always, Yasmina Wusu, and today we have Charlie Kestenik, who you know as my producer and husband in studio. But today he's here in a more guest capacity as Simitree Music.
Yeah, that's right.
Simitree. It's on my T-shirt for those of you on YouTube, but it is spelled like S-I-M-I and then tree, like
T-R-E-E.
T-R-E-E. I could have just said that.
Yeah, people are always pronouncing it Simitree, which is really embarrassing and horrible.
Simitree.
Is it Simitree? And I'm like, no.
I don't know that I would ever go to that.
I don't
That's
know.
a strange. Anyway, it is not Simitree, which sounds like Dimitri, but weird. It's Simitree, and Charlie is about to release his second album, following the wonderful album called Everything Matters, which you should also check out if you're able on everything, everywhere you can find music.
Everything
you can find
everywhere.
it.
We won't say any names of any Swedish.
Yeah, we might say
platforms.
Cubas. You can find it on.
If we can pronounce it.
Yeah, you really can't. It's like a French Spotify that, like, kind of pays people.
Yeah.
Try that one.
Yeah.
Cobas.
Slightly less like military drone companies supporting.
Yeah, just
than
a
that
little
other
bit
one.
less. I mean,
Just kidding. We
almost
love
everyone
you.
is less.
Yeah, like 100% of all streaming platforms other than that one are less military drone
Yeah, it's not hard
invested.
to beat. Yeah, in these times, I mean, these little things count.
They
But
do. They do.
the new album, Bright Noise, the studio release date is
Gravity of Hope.
Gravity of Hope. What did I just say? Bright Noise. That's the name of one of your songs.
That was one of the songs. Yeah, that was
the graphic behind you.
It's true.
Shows a lot about. But yeah, as you can see, we're in a different environs today because we're in fact in Charlie's studio, which also resides in our house, coincidentally.
Yep.
And not Peaked Studios, which is down the hall.
Right down the hall, down the hall. I definitely 100% asked you to do this.
I don't remember it that way.
Full transparency.
It was organic. Our people talked to each other and they connected us.
That's true. There was a long email chain back and forth.
All through Sly, our dog.
The dog, yeah. There was a lot of roofs, and I said chow a lot, yeah.
Chow. Well, Charlie, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the Gravity of Hope.
Your approach to music, creative process, and just all of it, all that good stuff, and definitely the album. I feel like we should get into the album somewhat, if you don't mind.
For sure.
So I find that the correlation or lack thereof of where people are from and their musical influence, I find it interesting. Yeah. And can you tell us a bit about where you're from and your musical awakening, so to speak?
Ooh, musical awakening, all that. Yeah, so I'm from right outside of Boston, a town called Watertown. I was born in Cambridge, which Yasmin and I were actually born in the same hospital. Fun fact.
6 years apart.
Didn't know each other at the hospital or later until, I'm just kidding. Yeah, didn't know each other
for
until.
like 22 years.
For like 22 years.
Between that.
Crazy that happened. Yeah. But anyway, I was born, just outside of Boston. I kind of call it like the first suburb of Boston. And, it's like.
That's accurate.
Yeah, like if you go straight down Mount Auburn Street, which is one of the main streets in Watertown, if you go eastbound, you end up right basically at the front door of Harvard University. And if you keep going, you end up at MIT and all that. So, but Watertown is definitely very working class, and so it's kind of this amazing hodgepodge of like working class people and people who are, maybe a little bit more university centered.
It's getting less and less working class these days.
Well, that's for sure. Nowadays, definitely. But 150 years ago when I was growing up there. No, I'm just kidding. It was definitely very working class. And my parents are both from the Midwest. My mom's from Ohio and North Canton, Ohio.
Canton, yeah.
And my dad is from Wisconsin, Milwaukee mostly. So it was kind of interesting. I feel like I grew up with quite a lot of different types of people. And my dad is also one of 9 children, and all those children had children. And so I had a million cousins, and they moved all over the country. So I have people that I've met that are in my family from basically the entire breadth of the United States. And so I feel like I grew up feeling like, kindred to every type of different type of person. Even some of the kids I grew up with, my parents would kind of look at them like, a little bit like, oh, they're a little bit towny, they're a little bit, this or that, and I don't know, these are people that I love, and I don't know. So I feel like
You had different demographics
I
in
had
your friend group,
a
I
lot of
think.
different types of people.
Yeah.
And I think my music definitely reflects that. Like I really love things that are, lofty and kind of like, I don't know how to put it, but they're very, music that you would study in conservatory, things like that. I love
Okay.
classical music. I love jazz. I love all the like the heady music, but I also really, really love pop music, and I love very simple music. I love folk music.
So you're in
And
both brows,
I'm in
the high
both.
and
Yeah, I know.
the
I'm
low.
like, I was trying to resist using the high and low brow because I
Eh,
don't even,
let's
yeah.
be facile. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. So
In
I
this
think,
economy, let's use an economy of words.
exactly. So I think like it's very important to me to make music that feels elevated, but also can still connect to my friends from home who will punch me and call me a dork if I make
Right.
something too brainy.
Right. So you
You know
stay
what I mean?
grounded in a way while
Yeah.
also being able to explore those more kind of complex and, like you said, just a little bit more elevated
Yeah, it's
vibes.
important to me to be able to code switch in that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's important to me. Yeah, I definitely take that as an important aspect of what I do.
I could definitely attest to that you are both guys.
Definitely.
You're definitely a great Boston townie while also being like, a child of a holistic healer and
Yeah.
a hippy dippy person. Like you're in the woo woo world, but you're also like, we're celebrating the Pats today in
Yeah.
grand fashion. Like all the
Yeah.
buffalo is available. The buffalo everything is
Absolutely,
available
yeah.
in
We're
our
trying to have
kitchen.
this conversation, but all I'm really thinking about is the Super Bowl later
Yeah.
today, and we don't
It's
want
Super Bowl Sunday, and
to
it won't be
filming
when
this.
this
Yeah,
airs, but just be aware that like buffalo is like seeping through the bottom of the door of the studio. And that's kind of
absolutely,
where Charlie lives in that he's like
absolutely.
Berkeley School of Music and
Yeah,
also Buffalo School of Hard Knocks,
yeah. I had a
right?
teacher. Yeah, absolutely. I had a teacher who kind of was like pretty close to my family, and she would call us like "Leave It to Beaver Goes to Woodstock," which is kind of
Oh, that's
an
clever.
apt description of my family in a way.
I could see that. Yeah. Woodstock 90.
No, no,
The real Woodstock.
no.
That's your side of it. They're like the
Do
real
these kids
Woodstock.
even know about the 60s Woodstock? Now they're all like, now that Woodstock 99 had a big moment?
Yeah, they just think it's that shit show with
That
the
would
Red
be
Hot Chili Peppers.
so weird. Anyway,
Well, I mean, that all makes sense with like what if you listen to your music, how it all comes together. But has your approach to creative process evolved or perhaps been affected by changing environment or moving cities?
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, so we moved, you and I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
I moved here from New York after I was in Boston until I was about 21, and then I moved to New York. I was there for about 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Met my beautiful wife, Yasmin Owusu.
Yeah.
And
A couple of years in. I'd
yeah,
say,
yeah, exactly. And I kind of hated it.
right?
No, there's a lot that I love about New York, but I struggled there. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. It
Like
wasn't an easy fit.
it's a hard place to be a musician, and it's like one of the most incredible pools of musicians on earth. Like they're absolutely it's an unbelievable pool of talent there. Like, but I feel like it gets a little bit lost on it because it's so hard to be a musician there that I feel like it's such a missed opportunity in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like such a struggle. All my collaborations felt really strained there. It just felt like everything, just to get people in a room together, felt like such a chore. And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's just a fact of being an adult as well. Just
There
like
is
trying
the
to
schlep
manage jobs
factor
and
in New York, though, and I'm sure people from
yeah,
LA could attest to that too. There's just you're living in different cities than
yeah,
your friends and
right,
your coworkers or whoever you're kind of trying to collaborate with. I mean, if
yeah.
you live in Brooklyn and they live in Queens, you may as well live in a
Forget
different
it.
state,
Not gonna
right?
happen.
It's
Yeah,
trains, planes, and automobiles to get from one side of town
yeah,
to the other, so it can really be a challenge for
yeah.
sure.
And then I think just physical space is
Mm,
such an issue in New York. Like
commodity.
such a commodity. We were, the bands I played in, we were sharing rehearsal spaces with like 5 other bands, and so it'd just be like already a like 8 by 10 room that's now like packed. The walls are packed with gear because it's all 5 bands gear, and it's also their storage space for their gear. And it's just
Someone's
like,
living in there.
oh, it's crammed to move. You can't move around at all. It's like every rehearsal you're like stuck in your little corner. And
maybe there's a marimba. Maybe one of your bandmates has fallen on hard times, is living in the loft.
exactly.
You just never know.
Shout out Ensemble at All.
Yeah,
One of my favorite collaborations of my life, and the marimba that we toted around the country a couple times. But yeah, so I feel like moving to Austin, I mean, it's like, yeah, we're in this studio right now, and I can have my drums set up all the time. I can have all my stuff ready to go. I can buy more gear that I don't have to worry about housing it. I can set up different stations to be creative, and I can do, it's just like, it just feels so absolutely liberating, and it's a complete game changer. And that's just like the physical aspect. Spiritually, I feel like I can breathe more too in Austin. Like, I feel like, we moved here, and it was we got jobs, and then we got a dog, like immediately.
Yeah.
And getting the dog has been amazing because he takes us on walks every morning.
Right. He improves our quality of life just by his necessities.
Yeah, we don't walk him, he walks us. So
yeah.
He takes us out. We're in the woods every day. Austin, if you don't know, it's like this incredible place where like there are really natural, beautiful trails all over the city, kind of just like interspersed.
Easy accessible.
Yeah,
we live
always
10 minutes from downtown, and we can be at trails south in 10 minutes, north, I mean, you name it.
So yeah, I feel like a calmer person probably because of that, and because the New York, just like the overwhelmingness of it is not getting in all the time. So I moved here. I finished Everything Matters. That was like first order of business. I found some people that I could collaborate with. People are a little bit more willing to collaborate for not being paid here too. I wish I could pay y'all a little bit more, but so
the price of living is a little bit lower. I would say most things are comparable to New York, but rent isn't.
Yeah.
No matter what people tell you, rent is a lot cheaper in Austin than it is in New York.
Yeah.
For what you get and for where you end up.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think there's a false comparison a lot. Like, you could be in like deep South Brooklyn, and people compare it to like being 10 minutes from downtown in Austin, which is, it's not. It's so hard to get around. But it strikes me when you were talking about having your drum set up, like that must affect your creative process, because you can kind of just walk in and out of the space as you feel inspired. Whereas if it's this thing where you have to get on the train and you have to have the time to get off work, get on the train, go to a studio, get your stuff set up, the moment could pass. Whereas here it just feels maybe like you can just kind of come in and out of your creative feeling in a natural way.
Absolutely.
Would you say that's accurate?
100%.
Yeah.
It's so much easier. There's two sides to that coin. I mean, in a way, there's something good about forcing yourself to be creative at times. So there was something about that aspect in New York. It's like, all right, like this time is for this, and so the mission is there, and you have to. And then, as like anything, if there's a lot of tension, then the release can sometimes feel a little bit more
bigger, right?
But no, absolutely. The like last night we were about to have a rehearsal, and bandmate was running a little bit late, and I just like threw up a microphone and started a demo, and it's like, any time that it feels just so much light. Everything just feels lighter, that's like the biggest thing. Like, there's not when you have that scheduled time and you're like coordinating schedules with other people in New York, it feels so pressured. So that can be pretty brutal and kind of crushing to your creative spirit. So here it definitely feels, the whole process of creation feels like, 1,000,000 pounds lighter for sure.
I could relate to that. And also to what you're saying about how sometimes maybe that put this impetus on you, or kind of fueled you to like act more. It's almost like it is so much easier here to meet up. It is so much easier to get to green space. So it can sometimes make you rest on your laurels because you could just do it, right?
Yeah.
Where there's this big drive, like we'd be like, we need to get to the Catskills. Or like, I
Exactly.
need to meet up with my friends. We're going to get on this like G train. We're going to make it happen. Where now it's like, I
Exactly.
could anytime. So you end up kind of sometimes getting lazy, and like that
Yeah.
needs to, we've made that adjustment, but I think it
Yeah.
took a couple of years. Like you can
Yeah.
kind of get in that comfortable space. You know what I mean?
Yes. I
Too
definitely,
comfortable.
yeah. I definitely feel like, yeah, the biggest difference is it's easier to finish things and especially finish them faster here. Just because there's, even if you have 5 minutes to work on a mix or something, it's still 5 minutes to
It's
work on
5
a
more
mix.
minutes. Yeah.
And you're not thinking about like setting all this stuff up. That deterrent of like, oh, I have to set this up. Oh, I have to set this up is like,
And then break it down.
and then break
behind
it down.
you.
It's one of the worst things, absolute worst things to creativity. It's brutal.
That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What strikes you as a big contrast between your oldest full album and your most recent in terms of process, tone, and content?
Process, tone. These are such good questions.
Thank you.
Want to get married?
I mean,
Okay.
we've been engaged for a million years. Me as well.
That's true. Technically. I got the ring though. What was the question? Yeah, so the difference between the two albums, right?
Yeah, in tone, content, process, all of it.
Yeah, yeah. So with Everything Matters, this was kind of like me kind of like proving to myself that I could finish something. I had for years been writing songs and writing demos, many of which you heard, and even some, like some of the songs that ended up on Everything Matters were like
Old.
7 years, 8 years old.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that survived 8 years, which is good, right?
Right.
But I had made so many excuses to not finish an album. It's like, oh well, I don't, I need to record it somewhere better. And then I was like, oh, well, I need someone who really knows how to mix it. And it's like, oh, well, I can't afford to do this. I can't afford to do that. I can't find, and so eventually I started through that time, I started learning how to mix and started taking matters into my own hands. And so eventually I was like, actually it was really like COVID hit in 2020. And it was like, all right, well now I have a bunch of extra time. I'm home all the time. I'm going to make an album and I'm going to finish it and I'm going to mix it. And I'm going to I did all the artwork. I mastered it. I did everything. I did 100% of that album. And it was just me a lot of it was me proving to myself that I could do it and I could follow through and complete it and drive to complete it. And yeah, that was kind of the whole thing. Learn how to mix better. I'm proud of those mixes, but and I had mixed like some other little things, but it was a big learning experience. Like I was really trying to like figure out how to do this and how to get myself in a mindset to like really complete something.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing going on in Everything Matters. And tone wise, I think it's a little bit more optimistic than The Gravity of Hope. The Gravity of Hope is like Everything Matters is, since it was kind of written a little bit more in my 20s and a little bit, even though I was like it's kind of funny. Like I feel like I was struggling in New York, but always trying to find the silver lining. And I feel like that's what comes out lyrically in that album, even though there are some darker moments. But and then The Gravity of Hope is kind of like I moved to Austin and now I'm like processing all the dark shit that I was feeling in New York, all the stuff all the like feelings of things aren't really working out the way that I thought they would. And all my like youthful naivety of like just thinking that the world would get better rather than worse socio-politically or whatever. Like, yeah. And that doesn't seem to be the broad strokes of how things are feeling.
Depends on where you start your marker, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's definitely some times I would rather be here than be there. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, right. I just mean, especially politically in this country.
Yeah.
I think I had high hopes as a young dude that everything would get a lot better. And that really has not panned out. So yeah, a lot of that. Yeah, those are the main differences. And then, of course, everything we talked about as far as having the room to do it has definitely been a tremendous difference.
In the process area, that would make
and I got to had the great opportunity to collaborate a little bit more.
Yeah. Like, because it's easier to collaborate.
Yeah. So there's more. It's not just I am the only singer on the album, but I'm not the only voice.
Yeah. New York does have that thing where there are a million people making music in the city, and that can make you a dime a dozen. But there's also just this, I don't know, inequity of access. I think
for sure.
the amount of access that just not having to work a paycheck to paycheck job can give you.
Yeah.
If you have that situation, it really does make a difference. And,
absolutely.
Connections make such a difference in a city like that too. I mean, here connections is more community.
Yeah.
And in New York, it's more schmooze connections, right?
Totally.
So if you have that ability, if you have that facility around the city, it can really change your trajectory no matter your talent level, and that can be disheartening.
Sure is.
It's also
I do
just
feel
the way clubs and stuff operate.
You're
There's a lot of
absolutely
paying to play and that kind of thing, where I think here people want to take care of their creatives. It's a city built by creatives, essentially.
That's a really good point. That is something that struck me a lot early on, and that should not go under the radar. That's really an important aspect of the city. It deserves its props.
Yeah. It genuinely does prop up creatives and artists. Like it's a city built on artists.
Yeah, monetarily too. Yeah,
and it
not
shows.
Just,
they put their money where their mouth is. I mean, they have grants. There's just a lot of just holding space for music and art.
Health
in
insurance.
Austin. And not in just a commercial way.
No, yeah.
So that makes a difference. This album, like your others, seems to have a message which unfolds both lyrically and melodically as you listen. Can you tell me a bit about that story?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I touched on it a little bit in your last question. So I think, the title of the album comes from the second song, Say It With Your Chest. No one talks about the gravity of hope. No one talks about the aftermath. And that was inspired by conversations that you and I had about how crushing hope can be.
I think it came from me talking about like hope core and just like what really kills me about these silly little videos where you just see someone like trying and hoping. It's like, it's not the failure, it's the hope that's so crushing.
Yeah. I steal most of my lyrics from things Yasmin says.
That is not true. But
no,
anyway.
But yeah, we talked a lot about that. How brutal hope can end up being, because
it can be devastating.
It's that, and that's the gravity of hope is, it's like you're hoping that this thing is going to happen, and there's like this rising, and then and so it's pretty brutal to call it that way, to call the album that. But I also had the realization over the course of writing it and thinking about it and deciding to call it that gravity is just a force, and a force can go this way or that way. And we think about gravity as falling, but falling is also just going back to the earth and back being on the earth. It's holding you in place and keeping you from flying off into a abyss of space, right? So that's pretty important. Hope it's what keeps us going. It's what keeps things getting better when they do get better.
Gravity also means importance, right? It means importance of hope, and
exactly.
Falling down is being on the ground and being grounded in a way, right? So it's not inherently negative to hold importance and weight on something.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to look at it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, so there is a bit of a narrative. I guess I should have thought a little bit more about this, like from first song to last song, but I think I would also just blab on, and if I was going to do that whole breakdown. But again, I feel like I was a bit naive when I was younger, and I've learned to kind of transmute hope more, like prevent hope from being something that is just something that I naively think about. I naively hope that this is or that is going to go well. I naively hope that the world will get a better place. I've tried to, as I've gotten older, I've realized like it's really all actions, and it's really, we all have, it's responsibility. It's like taking responsibility even just for your own thoughts, and like working through those things, and understanding that like like doesn't you don't have to run for office, but like maybe like bring your neighbor I don't know, a nice, I don't know, a
A
loaf of
cup of
bread
sugar.
or a cup of sugar.
Lend
Do
them some
something
sugar.
nice for
They
your
are your
neighbors,
neighbor.
and ask for help. Like one thing I really realized, I
Yeah.
think again, since like having the space to like feel like a human being again since moving here, is like I was so afraid to ask people for help. I was so afraid to ask people to collaborate in New York because I felt like everyone's time was so expensive, and
Mm-hmm.
so important. And now it's like when you have a little bit more room and to feel comfortable asking people for help, then it reminds you that people actually love being asked for help, you
They
know?
do.
And like that's such an important thing. Like when you reach out to someone and ask for help, then you're humbling yourself. You're like you're creating community, and if you're a good person, then you're also essentially, by asking for help, you're offering to reciprocate that help, and that's how community is built, and that's how good things happen. So that's
Yeah.
where I've tried to learn how to put my hope into that.
Right.
And I'm not sure if that comes through on the album, but that is
It
definitely like
does.
exercising the demons of all this, like, I don't know, expectation that kind of was never really reflected on in
Yeah.
my younger years. Um,
You
that's
were just
been
hoping.
I was just hoping. I was just hoping.
Hoping, not really realizing there's a bit of a verb to hope. Right.
Yeah. So it's been very cathartic. I think like
Mm-hmm.
people talk a lot about like their mental health getting better from writing certain songs, and I definitely feel that from writing this album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some of that gravity out of there, or
A little
injected
less
in
gravity,
in a.
feeling a little lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting when you talk about asking for help or wanting help. I think a lot of what is difficult when you're living in a busy, bustling place is you might not have time, but I think we all want to still be thought of, right?
Yeah.
And I
Right.
think we can
That's a
all
good
relate
point.
to just like kind of not being the number or name on someone's mind. But
Yeah.
you, even though you have to cancel, you got to work, you got to do this, you kind of want to still be in people's minds. And we've had
Yeah.
that experience of like knowing someone kind of peripherally through somebody and, mentioning their name for a project and you just thinking, it's probably too busy. And their
Right.
person's partner, who is a friend of ours, just being like, no, like everyone always thinks he's too busy and he really wants to be
That's
called
true.
for
Yeah.
things. And
Totally.
I think we all had that in New York for sure, where it's like
Yeah.
even just to hang out socially,
Yeah.
sometimes like you get that feeling where it's like, oh God, no one's going to call me. I keep having to cancel because I keep having to
Yeah.
work double. So just being able to like just reach out and lower your ego and just be a bit vulnerable, it goes a
Yeah.
really long way.
Totally.
So yeah, I totally get
Well
that.
put. Well put.
So there is an almost a narrative contained in the gravity of hope. Is there a continuation that you're telling with your previous album and this one together as a whole? Well, I think you discussed that a little bit
A little
actually.
bit. Yeah, for sure. I mean, to elaborate on it, I mean, yeah. Let's see. I mean, the theme, like Everything Matters, is the first name of the first album for a really good reason. I mean, that is almost like that is the circle that encloses my entire philosophy. It's like the antidote to nihilism. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, and I think, yeah, I did my best to express that on that album. Uh, but yeah, I think I had to go back and just examine the part of myself the darker parts of myself. I wanted to
Yeah,
go
your
deeper
shadows a bit.
lyrically on this album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go into the shadows, check them out. And yeah, I think there's definitely like a philosophical arc of wanting wanting to push us in the right direction, towards caring about each other more, towards believing in things mattering,
Mm-hmm.
everything mattering, believing in something transcendent, something beyond what, you know, just materialist, I don't know, political, like salvation, this idea of like politics being the most important thing, I think is like brutal and horrible. That's definitely the ongoing narrative there for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Um, do you think, I mean, when you're describing it, it almost sounds like you're working that within
Yeah.
a little bit too.
Yeah,
It's
for
like you want to
sure.
push humanity that way, but
Yeah,
it almost sounds like you're trying to push yourself that way
for
as you
sure. I
become
mean,
a little more jaded maybe over time,
yeah,
right?
well, right. Yeah, I think I was getting more jaded and I had to take a really serious look at that.
Was
Yeah.
everything not mattering as much as it used to matter?
Uh,
Did you want it to matter more? Did you want there to
maybe.
be more gravity
I
to
had
your
to keep
hope?
reminding myself. Yeah, I think there
Yeah.
was definitely a dark time, especially like late 20s. I think I hit a lot of people I think hit a
Oh
weird
yeah.
patch there. You start really checking in with yourself. Holy
Yeah.
shit. I'm
It,
almost
yeah.
30 and now I don't know what's going on at all.
It's a bit of a hangover period for
Yeah.
sure. There's
Yeah.
a lot you're kind of processing
Yeah.
um, in a caffeinated way. You're processing your teen years,
Yeah.
childhood. You don't have that reflection, right? So you're processing
No.
a lot of these periods where your frontal lobe isn't even developed,
Yeah.
right? And now
Yeah.
it is. And you're like,
Yeah.
what the hell
Oh
was all
shit.
that?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a hangover, right?
Totally. And I think I worked through some of that, but there were some tendencies that had not been
Hmm.
fully
Oh,
exercised
weird. I
yet.
have it all figured out.
Oh, nice.
Huh.
Sweet. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, how important is collaboration to your process? Your collaborative, how collaborative is Gravity of Hope compared to other projects in your previous album?
Yeah, yeah, nice. I get to shout out all the homies. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, Gravity of Hope is way more collaborative. Like I said, I did everything on Everything Matters and almost to like a ridiculous point.
Hmm.
I even wrote like a silly note on the back of the album. It's hilarious about how I was a little bit lonely doing it. Uh, but yeah, and Gravity of Hope. So when I moved here, I was like, first order of business was finish the album just so that
Hmm.
I have something to create value, to like, yeah, look, see, I did something. I released something. I
Yeah.
feel like it's pretty slow going trying to find people to work with you for free or cheap no matter what. And if you don't at least have something finished, you're kind of like, it's like,
Yeah.
just come start
You want
something
to
with
jam?
me. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So I had to like have some, I felt like I really had to finish something and have it out in the world. And that worked. It helped me find George Simmons, who's been like an absolute, he's my dog. Like he's the
Hmm. He
homie.
was
Like
just here last night.
he's just here. Yeah. He is absolutely so committed to helping me make this thing better, you
Hmm.
know, and
He is a
and
branch
to bring
on
it
the
to.
Simitree.
He is a branch on this. He is a root at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I also found Josie Rocha, who's an absolute amazing talent.
Hmm.
And yeah, we started a live band, played some shows, and it was pretty obvious immediately that like, yeah, this is a cool thing, and I really wanted to capture that in the studio. So it was really also great to like get to play some songs out that I, hadn't finished recording. So that was really cool. We got to do
Hmm.
that on a couple of the songs. And so they got better, they got better than they would have been if it was just me by myself. And I got to invite them in. We even did a couple, not necessarily full songs, but parts of songs live off the floor, which is
Hmm.
so great. Like, I feel like that's the big difference between no shade to any lone wolves, but there's you can kind of tell when someone is the only person on a project,
Hmm.
and there's a sound to that, and it can be really cool. Some of
Yeah.
the greatest artists of
It can be
our
coming
time.
in the air,
Yeah.
but you can hear Phil Collins is by himself in that. You definitely can.
Certain Australian psychedelic rock
Who do you
people.
mean?
No one. Anyway,
Uh,
so no shade. Yeah. So that
I
was
think we have
awesome.
enough
And then
plugs.
and then I really wanted some strings on the album. I'm a huge fan of like especially 70s Brazilian music. Uh, I absolutely love Milton Nascimento and Georgie
Hmm.
Ben and all those guys always have great string arrangements. So I invited a friend of a friend, Diana Burgess, who's an amazing cellist,
Oh God,
kind of
yeah,
a local
and
legend here,
vocalist.
and an amazing vocalist. Yeah, I stopped short of asking her to sing, but I almost wish I had.
For now,
Yeah, another time. And
yeah,
she's actually opening our LP release show, so
yeah.
come out to that. But anyway, she came through and like I don't know 3 or 4 hours basically. I think she had like wrote she'd like come up with some parts, but just like she basically improvised on 3 songs and wrote these incredible, just like improvised these incredible parts that are just like such important moments in the album. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited that she's going to be at the release show and playing those parts live. And yeah, she's great. And then also, let's see, I had Jess Clifford play guitar solo. Jess, who I've been playing with a bunch in town. He's another local legend guitar player, like absolute
Mensch.
wonder kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a wonder kid. I mean,
Wunderkind.
he's not that young anymore, but I mean, he was playing, I guess, since
Dang, pretty young to me.
still young,
My
still
God.
young. I just mean like he's not a kid, I'm not trying to little bro you, Jess. But Jess has been playing in the local Austin scene since he was like 12. And
Yeah,
it was like the
right.
best guy in the band he was in by the time he was like 13, like best musician in the band. So
Mm-hmm.
he's just a great talent, and that was really awesome. And he's also playing my early show.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I had it mastered by Max Lorenzen, who's amazing. And big shout out to Adrian Landon Brooks, who did all the art on this album. And I copped this little theme from him for this backdrop that's on, similar to what the album cover is. Adrian is an amazing artist and gave me very, very reasonable rates for all the work that he did. I really appreciate his
A true
talent.
collaboration.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
Austin style, just
Yeah, yeah.
like-minded and running on vibes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all those people are from Austin except for George, but
Yeah.
and myself, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some way or the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Harlingen or close to Abilene or Austin. Anyway,
That's
they're
true.
Austin-based
That's
musicians.
true.
And
Josie's
that's
from
what
Harlingen.
matters.
Yeah, yeah.
They're from Texas.
He's
Its own
Texas.
country, Texas.
She's Texas.
Your music as a whole is intricate and multi-layered. How do you approach translating that feel to your live performance? Or maybe you choose a more like pared down approach when you do it live?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It is kind of like a bit of it's a compromise, I mean, there's no, in a perfect world, I would pay, like, we'd have 5 to 7 people on stage, and almost every part from the record would be performed live. But obviously, as we discussed earlier, like putting 6, 7 schedules together is a nightmare, and the budget is the budget. So
And the space is the space.
and the space is the space. So trying to put all that together is a little bit crazy. So I do use backing tracks. I'm not ashamed to say, because there's the choices. Do we sacrifice a lot of the density and the sonic experience, or do we try to do what we have to do to create the best possible sonic experience? And that's definitely my priority.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm really proud of how our live show sounds. And I think we do the things that need to be done live. We accomplish that with 3 people, and it still hopefully feels very alive and very fresh. And
It does.
there are moments of improvisation, and there's enough that is alive and that isn't just pre-recorded that I think we ride the balance pretty well.
I think so too. You definitely have some really like lush, like sonically dense moments. And then you also have some great ways to like bring a song down to its studs and bring the audience in an intimate way. And I think it really works.
Yeah, well, now that there's more material too, we are, as of recording this, it will be in about a week. We are playing a show with like almost like a piano trio. I think George will play piano. My friend Taylor will be on upright bass, which is really cool. And I'll be playing sit down drums. I usually play standing up. So I'll have like a kind of like jazz cafe kind of a vibe, and that'll be really cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's just like you get to see a different show every time you see Simitree, depending on what the setup is.
Kinda, yeah.
In the best way. I mean, it must keep it interesting for you as well, right?
Yeah.
Just working that.
Definitely.
Your sound does not fit neatly into like a cookie cutter genre. Where do you think you sit and where music is and where it's going?
Yeah. Well, you know me. Great question. I definitely am not a big fan of the genre thing.
I think categories in general.
Categories. Like I have like
a
a weird like rage about categories and the way humans over categorize things. So it's hard to say. I mean, music is in a really strange place in a way. Like the landscape of music is strange. I think I think like we're abusing music by putting it in every every ad, every retail place,
Yeah.
every moment of your life has to be filled with music, and I think that's kind of like a problem. So I guess my
Say more about that.
yeah, I
Is
think
it like it cheapens it, or it just
yeah,
becomes so omnipresent that people don't hear it anymore?
absolutely. I think it takes a. I think music should be. It doesn't have to always be, but I think music should, in some way, be sacred.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
Or
again, back to
intentional.
yeah, intentional. Back to the philosophy that we were talking about earlier. Everything matters, and all like we need more in general to feel sacred. I think there's like a lack of anything feeling sacred to a lot of people.
Bars.
Bars, yeah, yeah, into our just like our like earth culture, human culture
Yeah.
almost these days. It's like kind of a scary thing. So I guess I hope my music, it's not going to fit on like a dinner party Spotify playlist. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's not going to
Pool
jive
vibes.
with Khruangbin. Again, no shade, love Khruangbin. Great for dinner parties. Not necessarily going to be like this big moving musical experience most of the time. I don't know.
It does kind of sit in a vibes place, right?
It's yeah, that seems to me like that's the intention, and that's
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Does that
It's very chill.
masterfully.
It's very chill. My music is not exactly chill most of the time, and it's not super abrasive, but it's meant to draw you in. It's meant to like um, you're meant to be paying attention to it.
It demands that you be present and
Yeah,
experience it
yeah,
rather than that it,
yeah.
just is there.
Yeah, and we don't. So in that it's like this funny thing. We're always listening to music, but we're never actually listening to
We're
music.
always hearing music.
We're always hearing music, right?
Right.
It's always on. It's always there. It's always being played in our ears.
Mm-hmm.
But we're never listening to it. So I guess you know, uh, hopefully I'm part of a movement to sit down with your phone in another room and like. I mean, this maybe necessitates owning a stereo, but or you can do it in headphones, but
Yeah.
sitting down without your phone in front of you and
Just
like
to listen to it.
listening to an album, that's my dream. That's where I would like
Oh,
it
I
to
would
sit
love that too. Being
in
an
the
old
world.
ass millennial, I remember that was such a thing for me. I was coming home from school and I would
Yeah.
just sit in front of, like, we had this glass case with
Yeah.
our stereo system in it, the CD turner in there. And I would just
Yes.
sit right in front of it
Yeah.
and just, sit on the floor and just listen to my little albums that I was into at whatever given
Yeah.
time, probably like OK Computer, you name it.
Yes.
But that's all I was doing. I wasn't
Yeah.
doing anything else. I wasn't cleaning my house.
Yeah.
We've all had that experience where you're like by the lake or whatever. In Austin, maybe that's
Yeah.
more of the thing. Or you're at the beach if you're in New York, you're at Rockaway. And, everyone's got a Bose and it's just like,
Oh my
it's kind of
God.
ruining the music and the ocean.
I know.
It's almost like, could we do one or the other kind of
Right.
thing?
Well,
Like,
yeah, in that situation,
mm-hmm.
the music is not sacred.
The
The
ocean is
place
not
you are
sacred,
is
right?
not sacred anymore. So it's like, what are we doing? We're just
Mm-hmm.
cheapening both sacred things.
What are we running from?
What are we running from? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
That hits hard for me. I would definitely want to encourage things going in that direction. I remember us having a conversation about me talking to a younger coworker and him just saying like, I'm really into doing this thing called playthroughs.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
after a little bit more pressing and be like, what does that mean?
Playthroughs?
I realized he meant listening to an album as it's intended in its entirety.
All the way through.
And I did not know that had stopped being a thing to the point where it required a term. The
That's so funny.
horrible thing that you hate, these terms, I
Yeah.
think they do come from people just completely forgetting what things are intrinsically. So they
Right.
create these like odd terms. You don't need to call
Yeah.
it a playthrough. That's what listening to music is.
That's like, yeah, supposed to be.
Right. Suppose.
And like, just like for full transparency, I'm guilty of it too. Like, I don't sit down and listen to music enough at all. I sit down and practice and I'm like interacting with music all the time, which is part of the reason maybe I have a hard time carving out time to do that. But it is something that I need to do more of too.
Yeah, no, I could definitely relate to that. I think I'm guilty of listening to the same 4 albums for like the past 20 years. Maybe I need to branch out a bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm doing
fair enough.
playthroughs, but it's like that loop is tight.
Yes.
Um, Your songs, while markedly introspective, also they gamely tackle socio-political complexity and collective spiritual conflict. Can you tell us a bit about what drives that ability to zoom in and out so unflinchingly?
Damn, that's like a really good question.
Kind of dense.
That's
Yeah,
intense.
there's some parts.
Yeah. Wow. So, right. So I kind of touched on it earlier also, but the like, I want to say this the right way. Like, for me, like politics, we're so focused on politics as being the the thing that we need to fix. And to me, politics is nested within like ethics and like
Morality,
morality and the way we act and the way we look at the world.
values.
Yeah. So for me, that's kind of like the central theme of all my music is how do we like how do we push back to a place where we're not, it's like we're asking the wrong question, you know? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what's wrong with our political leaders? What's wrong with our leaders? What's wrong with our communities? What's
Mm.
wrong? It's like, how do we allocate tax dollars to like fix the problem of community? It's like, that's
It's all just
no,
us.
it's just us. Yeah. How do we,
Yeah.
like, we need to fix ourselves. We need to fix how we interact with the world. We need to fix how we
What we
see the world.
value.
We need to fix the fact that we don't see anything as sacred anymore. We need to find, yeah, we need, like, community does not need tax dollars. It needs people
To care about each other.
prioritizing going out and being with each other,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and deprioritizing, I don't know, I guess what, like chilling and Netflixing or whatever. So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because life is hard. And sometimes I don't want to leave the house all the time.
Yeah.
Very often I don't want to leave the house. So
It's really tough. We're just in such a place where convenience, I mean, it's just that, right? It
yeah,
feels real convenient. The problem with convenience is what it takes away, right?
right.
Like eventually, if everything is so easily accessible to you by yourself, what are you losing in the journey to it? What are you losing in
Yeah.
the accomplishing of it? What are you
Yeah.
losing and what are you losing? You know? What are
Yeah.
we losing?
Right. We've sacrificed meaning for convenience. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So that's it. I mean, that's definitely it. I'm pushing, you know, I touch on politics all the time, but it's in the lens of like the problem is that you're acting terribly.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you're allocating money the wrong way. Not that you're like,
All of that's
the
just
problem is
symptomatic of us and
right.
where we're
It's like,
at.
and even the leaders, it's like, I don't want to even point the finger at the leaders. Like I want to point the finger. It's like we all, not even the voting, like we all as a society and a collective have allowed a person like this
To be elevated.
to exist,
Mm-hmm.
even to like, not to say that, I'm not saying like let's go kill people. I'm saying like we create
Created,
these
yes.
people with our collective values, and how much are we contributing to that, even if you feel like you're so different from the people that you that you really don't agree with, like
Mm-hmm.
what we all need to self-examine and find out what parts of ourselves are also enabling that kind of person to come to exist, to like, I don't know,
To like
to
metastasize into
metastasize.
whatever
I'm like
they
looking
are, right? No,
struggling for the
it's
right
so
word, but yeah.
true. I mean, there's so many things that lead up to. If we're
Right.
going to talk, I'm not going to speak about any specific leader, but there are these leaders that we have globally that you could say are, you know, narcissistic, problematic, or whatever. And the family structures that are failing, you know,
Right.
the isolation, the, you know, touting of winner versus loser, all these kind of structures that exist in all of us and that we've all touted. I mean, all of us have been in a situation too where there's this kind of like bully figure and everyone becomes really reverent to them, whether it's in a
Yeah.
high school, whether it's in a job, you name it. But I mean, the more that we encourage their power and their drive, and sometimes it's oppressive to them at a young age, right? It's
Yeah.
like their worst tendencies are working for them. And it
Right.
can really create a loop of, well, I have to keep being that, whether they want to
Yes.
or not. It can be actually kind of harmful to them at a younger age. And,
Absolutely.
but the more that that's affirmed and the more that works, the more it perpetuates. And then what in us wants someone to just take control of everything. I mean,
That's a
there
great
does
point.
seem to be a part of all of us that wants to outsource our own responsibility to
Yep.
some stronger, bigger entity. And I think we're seeing what can happen if you let that go awry.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I always did feel that in your music, you're so able to talk about the bigger implications of things while also
Yeah.
examining it inside. There's so much as without, so within
Yeah.
in the way that you structure your songs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, yeah, I guess that's definitely it. I'm trying to carve out the parts of myself that are not only symptomatic of that kind of a society, but are perpetuating it, are reinforcing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing we can really do. I know, whatever, everyone's going to tell you to get out there and vote, and you can and you should, but you need to like examine yourself, and you need to think about how you can start here, like figure your thing out. How do I make myself the best and most useful person to my as small a community as you can possibly start with yourself.
Yeah.
You're the first beginning of your community. And I mean, so much of that is just being too hard on yourself. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like that's the first thing. I think especially as like a person who teaches kids, it's like 99% of the time it's like I'm just seeing a kid like yell at themselves inside, or like
Yeah.
make themselves constantly telling themselves that they can't do it, they can't get better at this, they can't get better at that, they aren't good at this, they aren't good at that, and they're
Mm-hmm.
always just afraid that they aren't good at anything, or they'll never be good at anything. You
Yeah, and
know?
if you can't feel that inside, it's really hard to inject into the world outside of you. You
Yeah.
either have a kind worldview or not,
Yeah.
ultimately. So if you can't give yourself that grace,
Yeah.
it seems kind of far fetched. You could really grant it truly to other people, even if you're
Right.
people pleasing. Probably your mentality around it is not where it needs to be, right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of that comes from like the convenience thing, and like we don't know where to put our like existential anxiety. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like we're animals that are afraid of dying, but like it seems pretty like we're not gonna die. Like it's just
It
like, all
feels
right,
very
well, it
not
seems pretty,
dying-ish.
yeah, it
Well,
seems
a
pretty
little more
safe.
recently,
Right, I know, right?
but
But yeah, like
yeah,
most of our lives, we feel like
yeah.
so in like this little safe
Little
cocoon, and we're
cocoon,
like,
yeah.
where is this like fear coming from? And you have to like sort that out, and like you have to learn how to put the fear of death like back into your life in a certain way. Like you have to like
Yes.
allow like that is the you're doing good if you're like still breathing. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're doing good if you're relatively healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that you have to like check in with your thoughts and your breath, and just be like, wait, hold on. Food's on the table. I've never gone hungry a day in my life. Or like if you have, maybe hopefully not right now.
Right.
Like there's food in the pantry, like I'm still breathing,
Mhm.
everything's okay. Like, yeah, there are
Yeah.
always things you can do better, but if you can constantly keep reminding yourself that and remembering that, then I don't know,
Yeah.
it gets a lot easier.
Yeah. When you're saying that, just kind of bringing mortality to the forefront, I definitely think it is something I'm realizing more and more that
Yeah,
the things in your corners and shadows, if you don't pull them out and put them in the light, they work a lot in the background, and you can't
absolutely.
control the background. It's
Yeah,
your unconscious. And I think the more you can be conscious about your shadows, your worries, your anxieties, just push them to the front and really look at them, be like, what is this?
yeah,
The less havoc they're actually able to wreak.
yeah, that's
So
so
it's like they
true.
seem scary to look at, but they're actually more scary to just let do their thing
Absolutely.
with impunity without your examination, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Great question, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I've got one more.
One more, let's
Yeah.
go.
What would you tell yourself at 14 about your album, The Gravity of Hope?
All these questions are like dovetailing so nicely. Because I feel like I would tell well, yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily about the album, but it's like, be kind to yourself.
Yes.
No, it's hard to know what to say about my album, because like what was the Zappa quote, like it's like dancing about architecture,
Yeah.
talking about
Talking about
music is
music
like,
is like dancing about architecture.
I always bring,
But we just went ahead and did it for about an hour.
right, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I don't know what I would, well, first I would say one day you're gonna make an album that you're extremely proud of, and it's gonna take you longer than you thought it would. I mean, I made other albums with other artists, like total props to Ensemble at all, Tobo,
Yeah.
lots of different
Great
people,
albums.
lots of different people I've made beautiful albums with that I'm so proud of. But yeah, being that this is like very much centered in coming from me, I don't, for a long time I thought I was just gonna be a drummer or multi instrumentalist sideman, and this like need to create my own thing sort of germinated slowly, and so yeah, I would tell my 13-year-old like crazy Neil Peart loving, wanting to be like the drummer in a prog rock band, like I would say you're going to be more than just a drummer. You're going to be the main songwriter, and you're going to make something you're extremely proud of, and you're going to make something that would give you chills. Like that was what I lived for when I was 13. It's still
Yeah.
to some extent one of the things that I live for, and yeah, that's real. I'm really proud of that, and I think 13-year-old me would be really excited. And I'd be like, awesome. So I'll be like,
So
what,
hype.
22 when that happens? Like, no, you'll be like 37. I mean, and I'm proud of Everything Matters as well. But yeah, so it took longer than I thought, but I'm here and I'm so proud of what I did. But the main thing I would tell that kid is just like never lose perspective of the joy of making and playing music. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of need to sound good and to be good, and this thought of like, I don't know, being virtuosic or whatever. There's this like kind of negative attention seeking ego thing that can really take over the joy of playing music.
Yeah.
It actually, it kind of ruins the the purpose. The purpose is to be joyful and enjoy the music you're making, and experience something transcendent, and
Yeah.
that's the most important thing, just to never lose sight of that. And I think to some extent, maybe, in the nonlinear time spectrum, that kid heard this, and you know what I mean? Because
And it kept him going.
yeah, well, I do feel like one thing I am also proud of. I'm just going to talk about all the things I'm proud of about
As you
myself. No,
should.
no, I'm really stoked that I've always kept making music that I really care about as my number one priority. And yeah, simple as that. Yeah.
I mean, simple, sweet, and profound.
Yeah.
Make things you care about. Whatever you do, do it good, right?
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, you just boiled it down. You just boiled it down.
Not my lyric.
I know, but yeah.
I don't want to take. Imagine I took credit for that. I was like, yeah, I've been saying that for a while.
Yeah.
Not a super famous song.
Someone stole it from you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like I stole all my lyrics from your philosophy. No,
I think that a lot of the things you sing about come out of a life that we've had together for
Yeah,
14 years and a lot of
exactly.
conversations.
It's all mixed
Yeah.
in. It's all mixed in.
It's all in there. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for being on.
You're off the hook
I'm
now.
honored that off which hook?
I'm just joking, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I just would be kinder to myself as a 14-year-old. I'm sure you're sick of me and I'll leave now.
Do it.
Says next.
Give me the interview.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for this album to come out and for everyone to hear it.
Very excited as well.
And give us dates.
Oh, yeah. March 6th, The Gravity of Hope comes on out. I don't think this will air before my next show, so we'll just talk about that. That's the same day, the release show. It's at a place called How Much Studios. I don't have the address right now. That's okay.
People have,
but you can find it.
Free.
Yeah, How Much Studios. If you just search Simitree album release show, Eventbrite has the tickets. Yeah, I'm extremely excited about it. We're gonna play the whole album live. There's gonna be 2 cello players there. Like it's gonna be an experience. This backdrop will be there.
Beautiful, which is based on
Adrian's
art. And check out Simitree. We've spelled it for you. Flip back to the front of the episode to get it again.
Simitree.
There you go. And it's not Simitree. It's Simitree. And you can find his music everywhere, but definitely download Qbuz, which is
Qobuz. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah,
they're
great
good.
alternative to Spotify. And anything you find that you don't like about it, please just write it to them. Let's get everyone on it. Let's get it working as well as Spotify so we can get these musicians paid.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And with that, thank you, Simitree.
Thank you, Peaked Podcast.
That's me.
All right.
All right. See you next time.
Yeah.